Here tonight, I ain't really gotta say too much. Black Sheep, Andre Vargas. Black Sheep was formed in 1989. Dre Vargas, Titus, last name, with Mr. Lang. Did I say that right? I don't know. McLean. Black Street, the first hip hop act to appear on um, the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. The group was a part of the Native Tongues Collective, which included the Jungle Brothers, A Tribe Called Quest, and De La Soul. In 2008, the single The Choice Is Yours, Revisited, was ranked number 73 on VH1's Top 100 Greatest Hip Hop Songs of All Time. The label was Mercury Polygram. Associate acts was Showbiz and AG, Chi, and Native Tongues. But tonight, we got Andre Vargas. Dre, it's on you. Take us on the journey.
What's the deal, man? Well, sure. That was quite the intro there, man. Yeah, I was born in Dres, Vargas, and essentially, yeah, like I was legally adopted. That's where Titus came in, and yeah, and Dres is just short for Andres.
Okay.
You know.
So legally adopted. Now that's a story that probably no one actually knew about you. Let's go on a journey. How did you become? How did y'all do that record? I mean, you did a whole album, is obvious, but you were down with some great legends. Let's talk about your journey of even becoming an MC. How did that even come about?
Like I was a teenager in the time when hip hop was really pretty young. You know what I'm saying? And and it was just something that it resonated within me. Like I'm from New York originally, from Astoria Projects, and I grew up really like I was probably the quintessential inner city kid. You know what I'm saying? I was a project kid, and I grew up pretty fast, and I was really popular. You know what I'm saying? Like hung out with a lot of older kids, even at a really young age. And so like like this music that was resonating with maybe cats maybe a little older than me, but spoke to me as well. You know what I'm saying? I was always very musical, and so from a young age, it was just something that was, that it was the music of the streets, and it was something that we were seeing coming into being, that we were young kids, from New York. Um, One summer, my cousin, my first cousin F, we got some turntables, and I think the first time, like for me to be able to have vinyl in my hands and trying to manipulate it, what I'm saying, to cut it or to blend it with another record, like that was all it took for me. I was stuck right then and there. Like I knew that this is something that I at least wanted to have a knowledge of, let alone I didn't know if it was something I necessarily was gonna pursue as a career, but I knew that it was something I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? So that was it for me. I was probably writing lyrics to songs before I was writing lyrics to rhymes.
Yeah.
That like I literally grew up that musically. You know what I'm saying? Like I would hear instrumentals and I would write songs to them. From a really young age, that was just something that I just did. Like both my parents were in bands, so maybe that had a little bit to do with it. And I was just always very musical. Like before I rhymed, I won talent shows singing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was just something that I did as matter of factly. Like I had one of those moms, like like she had a lot of company all the time, so she might call me and my sister to sing in front of everybody, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from a young age, I was just used to being put on the spot and having to perform. So little things like that played out to my advantage as hip hop began to blossom. And as I became a better writer. And I always thought I was gonna be a writer. Like that's really kind of what I thought I was gonna do. I thought I might become a journalist, right? For a magazine or newspaper, what have you. But I always liked to write, and so writing and music were two things that I was fond of both, and I excelled at both. So for me, it was a no-brainer as far as excelling in hip hop. And then once I got the opportunity to meet Long my senior year in high school, I went to high school in North Carolina. After being adopted by my stepfather, my family moved to North Carolina, where he was a officer in the Army in Fort Bragg. So that was my introduction to North Carolina and a whole new world as well. You know what I'm saying? So my senior year of high school, this cat that's also from New York by the name of Shorty Doo-Wop, through a mutual friend by the name of Stan. Stan had turntables, equipment, mics, and we used to meet at his house every day my senior year, drink our little 40s, smoke our little weed, and like Long, he was too young to do either or, but he was a dope DJ. And literally every day my senior year, I hung out my man Stan's room, just making tapes and, just cutting for the hell of it. Like, it wasn't even like we were trying to do something with it per se. It's just like we were just in North Carolina from New York, and hip hop was young, and we identified with it. So that's what we did literally every day. And years later, this year of just being in the room and writing rhymes and, cutting, years later, it would pay off, you know what I'm saying? Like having the opportunity, going back to New York, me and Long kind of bumped into each other on a humble. He was kind of in cahoots with Red Alert and some of the natives. And he really didn't have a place to stay at the time. And I had just gotten my first apartment. And I invited him to stay with me. Like, he was my little man. And it's kind of bug because I think of it now. Like, if you bump into somebody from your senior year of high school in another city, you're not really going to offer them the opportunity to move in with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you right about that.
Yeah, right. But that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? It was something about him. He was like a little brother to me. And so I was cool with, like, yo, come stay with me till you get on your feet. And when he came to stay with me, he bought turntables, he had, records, this and the other. And I'm like, oh, snap, like, you still doing this? Like, I kind of stepped away from it a little bit. I kind of got into the streets a little bit. And it was pretty dope because, like, I wound up, instead of me, like, I'm a native New Yorker, and he's kind of just getting back to New York. And instead of me kind of taking him around my way, I started hanging out with him going to the studio, which was Calliope. And, so now I'm meeting the likes of De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, while they're working on their first album, Queen Latifah, Jungle Brothers, Red Alert. And, it was kind of cool because, like, Long had wound up being around them for a few years. And so they had a lot of respect and love for his ability. And that he was introducing me to them, like, they were willing to kind of, like, just be cool. You know what I'm saying? And so now I find myself being able to hang out in the studio and just taking all of this knowledge from some groups that are already established and that I already like. And we're becoming fast friends. And it wasn't long before, like, me and Long are realizing, like, yo, like, we really have the end. Long knows I can rhyme. I know he's a dope DJ and has the ability to put tracks together. I wound up pawning a bunch of jewelry that I had at the time and literally give half the money to Long. And we wound up going in the studio, recording the demo, giving it to Red Alert and some of the natives. And Red had some phone calls made on our behalf to set up a few opportunities for us to play some music for the label. And we wound up going with a Polygram. And it was a really, really cool time. It was like 1990 going into 91. And our first single was Flavor of the Month, followed by The Choice Is Yours. And it was a really successful project and at a really I think fragile time in hip hop. It was a time in hip hop when people were talking about like it was a fad, and like we were really trying to get our legs under us and establish our sound, and and we were really fortunate that we were blessed that we were one of the groups that got the opportunity to bring hip hop into Middle America's home. We were able to perform on a lot of shows from Jay Leno to Arsenio a few times, to we stayed on BET's, all of the shows that they had. We performed on them numerous times, and MTV was showing us a lot of love, and so we were one of the groups that like hip hop didn't come on the radio every day back then. Hip hop wasn't something.
It was mainly videos, and it was gaining popularity But the masses didn't put it on like that until later on.
Right. For real. For real. Like I remember the first time I heard a beat on television. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how infrequently you'd hear hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Let alone just to hear a beat on television. You know what I'm saying? Like it just wasn't there. Like the things that we take for granted today just weren't there like that before. And
Yeah, yeah. You know the
so
one
Black
thing that yeah, the one thing I was peeping out is I noticed that back then y'all was going for the bangers in the clubs. Like, and I don't know who came up with that whole concept, even the pitch that you came on from the rip, it got you, so I don't know who came up with the pitch, but the song to this day is one of the greatest up tempo hip hop songs of all time. And they play it pretty much in a rotation at a lot of things now, especially if it's a throwback event. It's an undeniable song. I think this song and Dougie Fresh, y'all always in the rotation. These two right there. And you can go back and forth with them and kill a party.
That's a tremendous. This is my word. I take that as a tremendous compliment, bro. This is my word. I remember. In the late '80s. When I first graduated high school and came back to New York, and I was hustling. And I remember when the show came out. And Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh dropped. And this is at a time when we only got hip hop late night on the radio on weekends. We didn't even hear it during the week. You only got it on the weekends at late and at night.
Yeah, you talking about R&B era, R&B era though. Yeah, that it was still R&B. So, but rap was coming. It was coming.
Rap was coming on our way, but we wasn't there yet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But one of the that was kicking that door down. One of the songs that was being demanded be played during the daytime. During R&B, radio was Dougie Fresh's show. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a song on its own merit that stands to this day. So for you to put something that I did next to it, I take that as one of the biggest compliments I could ever receive, man. Like word up, that song lived. Doug is like a mentor to me on the low. You know what I'm saying? A great friend. And you know what I'm saying? So for you to even align what I did with that, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Word up.
Yeah, man. I mean, but it's real. I mean, if you take it back to that era, I mean, there was only certain records that was really get the party popping. And that's clearly one of those records, even if you play it now, that'll get it popping. Between that, the show, I mean, there's some other hip hop records you can go back to, but during that time and right after Dougie Fresh, that was definitely one of the hitters in a club scene. Undeniable slam. Everybody on, gonna be on the floor and everything. They're gonna party on this one. All right, so let's talk about, you did something with Chuck D, the legendary Chuck D. Just to say that name with you alone, because I remember Public Enemy back then, and Welcome to the Terror Dome and all that kind of stuff. They were one of the greatest conscious rap groups. In fact, they might be the greatest. And now you're doing a record with them. I mean, let's talk about that.
Well, that's from a project that I have upcoming, the DND Project, and it's really an exciting project to tell you guys about. I had the opportunity to meet Dillons Mom a few years back. You know what I'm saying? Pre-fit, at a show I was doing.
Jay Dillon. He's a legend.
Legend indeed. So I get a chance to meet his mom, Cass asked me, yo, you want to meet Dilla's mom? And I didn't have the relationship with Dilla like the rest of the niggas. Like, he was really close with De La, really close with Tribe. And I had just met him once in passing, but to meet his mom, I'm like, sure, just out of respect. you know, like, yes, please bring her back, you know, to the green room, chop it up, meet her husband. And it was great to meet him. But like the next month, I'm doing a charity event like in Puerto Rico, and I look down and who do I see? Dillons Mom and her husband. So it was like, oh wow, like, you know, like, so literally after the set, I literally go to them. And we chopping it up. It turns out she had a house in Puerto Rico, and they invite me back to the crib. She's gonna cook. Their DJ's coming through. They're gonna be spending in the yard. I'm like, oh, it sounds mad cool. So I go, you know what I'm saying, and I have the best time, you know what I'm saying, in the kitchen with her while she's cooking, talking to me about her son, and like, you know, I just getting this cool education, and we're just good people, you know what I'm saying. And so, like, at the end of the night, you know, we're just talking, and they're kind of telling me they got back a lot of the rights to Dilla's music under the catalog of the under the of the estate. And they asked me would I be interested in putting a project together, you know what I'm saying, from this music. To which I'm blown away. I'm like, you know, like I would love to, you know what I'm saying, like that would be amazing, you know what I'm saying. So it kind of set me off down this rabbit hole of really establishing who Jay Dilla was for myself. So I start listening to everything I could find. All of my friends that are friends of Dilla's, I start asking them questions, asking them about, you know, joints, and you know, I haven't even gotten up with them to pick facts yet, but I'm still just listening to as much as I can, and just, you know, listening to every interview, and just find all of these you know, things about Dilla that I didn't know, you know what I'm saying. I knew of his music, but not as extensively as I do today, and it was just a great learning experience for me. And then I get the opportunity to like to meet her husband in DC and go to a studio, and we're going through tracks, and I'm picking out tracks that I like and creating a folder, and I take that folder and I come back to New York, and I started the process of putting together a project. So the track with Chuck D, matter of fact, the two tracks you have, both of them are produced by Jay Dilla. I want an entire project that has some incredible features from the likes of Bun, Jay Sands, Freeway, Corey Guns, got Source Money, I got CeeLo Green, I got Del the Funk Homo Sapien, my man Alexander Simone, who's the grandson of Nina Simone. I mean, I got
Right.
some pretty cats on this project with me, and the entire project is produced by.
When does it drop?
This is going
Is
to be
the whole
next. What's really cool is I've had the opportunity to lock in with a company that's shooting a documentary, a company by the name of Versus, that's really dope. They did the Chi Ali documentary, which will come on Netflix soon. Um, so they're shooting a documentary about the making of this album. So that's what I'm in the process of right now. But as well, like, you know, like I've kind of pretty much finished the music aspect. Maybe a couple of little things that I need to do on the music side. But there's a documentary being done, and right now I've also started the process of doing two EPs at the same time with two different producers. One of them is a cat by the name of Stu Bangers. Stu Bangers does straight up off the block hip hop, some straight like. But he's got a old hip hop soul, you know what I'm saying? And like me and him are creating this really hard off the block project, like some real, to me it's some real b-boy hard hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And then I got this other project. If that's the grind, if the block, this other project is the rooftop, whereas I'm doing this really cool project with I'm I'm not at liberty really to tell you the names yet, but I'm doing it with two other people, and it's kind of like very soulful, and uh one of them is a producer and one of them is and me, and we're just doing an EP as well. And so I'm gonna be releasing two bangers stuff within the next month, I'd say, and probably the other EP I'll be probably dropping a single for probably right before the end of the year. And just staying busy. At the end of the day, like I'm really in a really cool space artistically. Like I've always been active, you know, like way beyond like people. Like if you don't know, you know, like my career extends way beyond the first two albums. Like I started my own labels called Pool of Genius. You can check me out at poolofgenius.com. And some of the releases I've released on that was an Everton. Everton is native spelled backwards, which is an album between with me and Jerobi from A Tribe Called Quest. And I've also released a few solo projects. One is called From the Black Genius, and another one is called 8WM/Novocaine. and even check out a project that I released called Tortured Soul. So like I've stayed busy, but I've stayed independent over the years. You know what I'm saying? I kind of do my own thing, and I might not be on the mid-label radar, scope, or some of the platforms. But anybody that's kind of rock with me over the years, knows that I've been really active. A ton of videos on YouTube. Check out Black Sheep Dres. Check out Evertan. And some really good music. So that's really what I'm forth. And even I'm elated that you're gonna play the joint with Chuck D, which is something I had did during I released it as a leak during the election, just because I realized that it wasn't gonna be as powerful down the road. So I just kind of let that one go. And and as well, this stuff that I'm doing with Dilla, like I think it's gonna be phenomenal for people to kind of hear his legacy continue the way that I'm kind of going to present some of the stuff. People are going to hear me in a few different ways that they've never even heard before, which is kind of cool.
Absolutely. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do the one with Chuck D on it. Dilla Drums by Dre.
We're dealing with the effects of our historical inheritance. Racism. The institution exists in every industry. Structural inequalities, joblessness, poverty, fragility of the black family, disinvestment in public education. The effects. We the ones that rise like the sun, exemplify fly, sound like none. Yo.
Hey, we come to elevate it. We come to elevate it. We come to elevate it. You leave them devastated.
It's a fact on both sides. I'm blacker than yak and Maybachs and brown sugar, Similac, bro.
Sip to celebrate it. Or sip to celebrate it. The fresh you never dated.
Yo, Chuck. You share a leader's lessons, that be your sinner's blessings. Before the woo was you that told us to protect our essence. With flavor bombing sessions, a bridge for adolescence. Unwrap the gift again that proved the present was our presence. Be where the boy's not, let me make it clear. Boy cop, boy shot like the buck stops there. And the fact you owe dope, reparations manana. And middle finger to Trump from Putin and Melania.
Here it comes, original digital native tongues. The sound of the barrio in the slums. To bring it together for iller sums. We gripping the hit you like Dillons drums. Original digital native tongues. The sound of the barrio in the slums. To bring it together for iller sums. We gripping the hit you like Dillons drums.
See, the rest cannot be contested. So post like you post, leave no vote suppressed.
I told him not to trust it. Told him not to trust it. Told him not to trust it. How can they not discuss it?
It's a beast that won't bequeath peace. Middle finger to Trump from the COVID deceased.
It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter, does it? I can't trust shit.
Yo, Chuck, get the Visine, hit him with the high beam. Wake up to a nightmare, make you wonder why I dream. Marks at parole, they're gold for black men. Take the gun, take the vote out of every black hand. As a world we move together, if I build you climb. Every parent casts the vote that keeps your children in mind. In a line with divine, no crime not feeling us. We'll deal with attitude, just stop killing us.
Here it comes, original digital native tongues. The sound of the barrio in the slums. To bring it together for iller sums. We're gripping the hit you like Dillons drums. Original digital native tongues. The sound of the barrio in the slums. To bring it together for iller sums. We're gripping the hit you like Dillons drums. I hate, it's a terrible taste of fate. Waste energy, blame it on every face, but they don't see a mirror. Get advice to hear you, you're genius, Dres. You got them getting nearer, they gotta dig you by now. You be showing them how to go better, get better, be better. Proud to get together, I'm out, Dres. Peace, my brother. Here it comes, original digital native tongues. The sound of the barrio in the slums. To bring it together for iller sums. We're gripping the hit you like Dillons drums. Original digital native tongues. The sound of the barrio in the slums. To bring it together for iller sums. We're gripping the hit you like Dillons drums. We're gripping the hit you like Dillons drums. Chuck D. We're gripping the hit you like Dillons drums. Dres. We're gripping the hit you like Dillons drums.
You heard it. Dre, Dilla Drums, featuring Chuck D, Public Enemy. Let's talk about that. I mean, just that alone, y'all. It's two historical people, coming together. And remember, I can hear now that that's a complete conscious rap record. Y'all bringing a lot of things to the light, so it sounds like you took it there. Is your whole project like this, or is that's just one song? Wait a minute. I got you. Here we go. Here we go.
Yo, there's nothing on the project that falls beneath that bar right there. You know what I'm saying? It's an amazing project. You know what I'm saying? Sincerely, like, it's all just very well thought out, well put together. All of the guests really did thing. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I mean, from Freeways on my song, T. Ali, like, yo, there's a ton of cats that I'm rocking out with, all produced by Dillons. And like I said, man, like, when it drops, it's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be a documentary that's going to coincide it. So, it's going to be something for people to kind of really wrap themselves around. It's going to be some classic shit, you know what I'm saying, sincerely. I feel really good because I have a whole contingency of music coming, you know what I'm saying? And it's real fast, and, I think in the marketplace now, it's even kind of needed, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, like, it's a great opportunity for cats that really kind of, have an understanding of what they're doing in the marketplace. And that's not just not trying to, belittle anyone that's popular right now or anything of the sort. But, like, if you've been doing something for a lot of years, there's an ability that comes with that, you know what I'm saying? And, like, the analogy a lot of times I'll use for that is like, like, if you've been cooking for 20 years, like, you're a master chef. Like, if you're a mechanic for 25 years, you're a master mechanic, you know what I'm saying? You take karate for 30 years, you know what I'm saying? You're a master, you know what I'm saying? You teach. And so there's a nuances within that someone new who might be very popular just cannot have, you know what I'm saying? And so that's where I'm at. I've been doing this for 30 years this year. The choice is yours. A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing is 30 years old, October 22nd. You know what I'm saying? So I know for a fact, like, there's nuances that I bring to the table as an MC that, it's just not comparable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't compare it, you know what I'm saying? That you can only get them through the experiences and through the opportunities to have traveled the world and share your insight and your ability. And that's what I'm bringing to the table today, And, I definitely want us as well, community, to get away from with the ageism, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the younger cats will look at older cat and be like, I think out of an intimidation to a degree, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really mess with them older cats, them older beats, you know what I'm saying, or what have you, because it's easier to, to do something that's not scrutinized, per se. And, they have to understand is, like there's a lot that went into them being able to grab a mic, to sit, to be heard. There's so much that went into them doing that, let alone that being monetized. So, like, you do mess with them older cats. You know, like, you stand on the shoulders of the older cats, the older beats, you know what I'm saying? And it's time that, like that, those older cats, we can't belittle what they're doing. It's time for us to understand what we're doing and to help them understand what they're doing, because it seems like they don't really understand what they're doing. And for the younger,
different time and era. But I'm gonna say this: the reason why that might coexist is because this era has less respect for older people. So coming up when you grew up, you used to speak to people on your block.
But we have to. That's not a lack of respect for older people, as much as that's a lack of respect for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we as older cats got to understand. Like that, we're taking something personal that has much more to do with how they look at themselves. You know what I'm saying? And we can come to the aid of that. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, we honestly can, by just kind of really taking a moment, you know what I'm saying, to kind of like just make ourselves available. You know what I'm saying? Like to put ourselves in the position where they do have someone when they need someone. You know what I'm saying? Like just as a community. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like, yeah, don't get it twisted. These little cats out here, yeah, they wild. You know what I'm saying? And for some of them, it is too late. You know what I'm saying? You know, for some of them, you know, they don't know how to communicate any interaction that doesn't go their way. They don't know how to handle that. You know what I'm saying? And we're not gonna catch some of them. You know what I'm saying? But it's always kind of been like that, you know what I'm saying, to a degree. But there's a whole contingency that we can catch, and some ones that need to be led the right way. And I say that to say that today I'm a father. I'm not just a man that has a kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just a man that, you know, impregnated somebody and they got a kid out there somewhere. Today I'm a father. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like today, you know, like I, you know, get my kid up for school, make him something to eat, you know what I'm saying? Like make sure, you know, everything is done the night before from home. Like all the things that a father has to do, today that's me. You know what I'm saying? And us as a community, like there's so many things, this is my word, I don't per se, I can't blame us as individuals, and it's time that a lot of stop blaming us as individuals. So much has been done to us systemically to put us in a position that we're in, that, you know, us looking at the individual circumstance sometimes is really way beyond the scope of the reality of the situation. So much systemically has been done to us over the years for us to be in the positions that we're in, where our families are broken down. That's the greatest thing in our community.
Oh, yeah, that. But I'm gonna tell you, social media has something to do with it breaking up.
With all the above, man, and to recognize it is to recognize self. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's time that, you know, that when we look at each other, that we don't see nothing but, if not a brother, a cousin, if not an uncle, a nephew, you know what I'm saying? Like for real, if not a sister, a mother, you know what I'm saying? Like it's time that we as a community really started being with who we are. You know what I'm saying? And started pooling our resources. You know, they've got us to the point where, you know, like if you got 100 black millionaires, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no reason that 100 black millionaires on a yearly basis, you know, and aren't putting money towards things that advance us as a community. But that doesn't happen because us as 100 black millionaires don't trust the other 99 millionaires. And that's all got to do with how we've been raised, man. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's on a self mission to become, you know, a Bezos and this and that. Our community needs to be the next Bezos. Our community needs to be the next whatever it is. Like, and it's not about applauding cats for making money if they're not doing anything that's constructive with it. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, like, yo, we really here and we really can make a difference. And a lifetime really isn't as long as you think it is. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all finding out as we get older.
Lifetime ain't what it used to be neither, especially now.
No doubt. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, you know what I'm saying? Like we can do whatever we want to do if that's what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I hope to be given the opportunity to do a few of the things that I'd like to do, you know, because they aren't really, you know, what's popular. You know what I'm saying? I think they're more what's just possible. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, like there's so many things that's possible that we don't do, you know what I'm saying, before we even look to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like we become so fragile, like not even as a community, but even as in humanity. You know what I'm saying? But we stronger than that. And, you know, like it's time that our men really be men. And, you know, but in that, it's time that as men, we help each other be men. You know what I'm saying? It's not for us to beat each other down anymore as it is for us to pick each other up.
Well,
You know
the
what I'm
only
saying?
way that's going to happen, you have to go back to just listening. You know, you got to be the only way anything is going to get through anybody. They got to be able to listen. And if you don't listen, that's the reason why, you know, like you said, certain people won't, you know, converse with another person, because that's just the way it is now. It's for some reason we're not communicating. We have more communication than we ever had. Y'all didn't have social media. Y'all didn't have none of this stuff. And you would think because of this that it would be better, but it's actually made a lot of people, even friends or whatever the case may be, separate.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
how it
because
went there, but it did.
we don't amplify the things that give us power. We amplify the things that take away our power for some odd reason. You know what I'm saying? Like we find entertainment in the things that take away our power as opposed to the things that empower us. And you know, that too has to do with things that are systemic, you know what I'm saying? Like years and years and years ago, like they literally had us in a place where it was passed down, you know, certain things in our community just shouldn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I'm gonna give you an illustrious visual, like, you know what I'm saying, like this is my word, and this is not to say that I'm advocating any form of violence, but I'm speaking to the violence that has pre-existed this moment. That average brother that has shot at another brother has never in their life dare aim a gun at someone that is a descendant of a slave owner. You know what I'm saying? And like this is someone that has done something, you know, like in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna aim at someone, if you have the audacity to choose violence, you know what I'm saying? Like at least like put it towards a system that has put its foot on your neck and the neck of your mother and the neck of your grandmother and the neck of your grandmother's grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's who you are, you know what I'm saying? Like aim correctly. Like there's no one on this side that has done anything to you. We are all in the same situation, trying to do better, trying to be better, trying to grow, raise children, pay bills, pay mortgages. You know what I'm saying? We're all trying to do the same things. You know what I'm saying? And even within a hustle, you know what I'm saying? And even within a job structure or within whatever the case may be, we're all essentially trying to find our way. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to someone who did something to you, someone that has little you in the place that you are. Like if you're going to choose to hurt somebody, like just aim. That's all I like have the heart. You know, if you're gonna aim at me, have the heart at least to aim at somebody that's done something to you as well. You know, that's all I gotta say about that. Like a lot of cats is running around here acting like by hurting us, they doing something. And other cats are like that's to be respected. Nah, that's not real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's literally, you know, robbing your family. You know what I'm saying? Like hitting your brother, hitting your sister, you know, to your mother. Like that's all that is, because they literally broke down our family units to the degree and sent us all in different directions. We literally couldn't relate it. You know what I'm saying? When we hurt each other. You know what I'm saying? And we're so broken. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of hurt. It's a lot of hurt on different levels now than it was back then. And like I said, I think it's predicated on social media, because social media sometimes has a reverse psychology to it. And sometimes we sit back and think, oh, is it really real with this person? But it don't be as real, and you be like, whoa, you back up. And then say if somebody is trying to push forward, well, you'll see people pump their brakes on somebody moving forward instead of saying, yo, let's get behind that, let's make that happen. But they actually, that's why I said social media is reversal psychology. It's not, the like may not be what you think it is. They might just be tapping on it because it is going with the flow, but it could be a reverse psychology to this whole thing. And I think it has been reversed. I think a lot of things is fake and not real, and social media is a part of it.
You know what's real important? Like it was almost a blessing that, you know, like IG and whatnot went down the other day for like 6 hours or whatever, right? Because like you know, like it's important for people to stay grounded. You know, like you should take time off of your apps. You know what I'm saying? Like because time off of your apps is time in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like you should take time off of your phone. You know, like your life should be made up of much more than the routine of watching reruns and social media. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what your life consists of, it's, you are the perfect candidate for change. You're the perfect candidate to become better. You know what I'm saying? And you should. You know what I'm saying? Like you deserve better than a lot of reruns and social media. You know what I'm saying? Like if social media make up most of your day, it's time for you to start doing something with yourself. And I say that in all earnest, you know what I'm saying, and with all due respect.
Look, so now I'm glad you're saying this, because when I put this together, this was basically for celebration. I've been on, I know who got the hot podcast. I know who is doing what. But when I put this one together, I did wanted to do a lot more entertainment. But what I really wanted was to preach more so, let's celebrate, because see, all the stuff that you've gone through, or all the things, y'all guys have accomplished something. And sometimes y'all don't even realize that y'all actually accomplished something because you're so busy what's going on this day. So when I put this together, I clearly wanted to celebrate people who was doing whatever. It didn't matter if it was entertainment. I had people on here that graduated college. I had people in here that was a chef. I done had so many different people on here. It just so happened, you know, Marissa hit me up and said, yo, I got a couple throwback cats, you know, from back in the day. And you know, they want to, you know, do an interview. I'm quite sure she knew that I was doing a positive show. I wasn't going to come on in and talk about whatever happened with that person. So, like I said, you just said something that I know is real. It's for me to do this like this and never change.
Real talk. You know, it is what it is, and you know, like I feel like, you know, some of the things that we even talking about, you know, like they're a good reason to get up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? They're a good reason. They're a good thing, you know, for the moment like this. You know what I'm saying? Like things that should be said. You know, some of the things that, you know, that are still resonating in the community just aren't being seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like those ideals are still alive. And you know, I think it's important that we find a way to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I don't think we give up just because we've gotten older and the kids are doing what the kids are doing. Like, nah, like just because we got older doesn't mean that we still don't lead by example, you know what I'm saying? And that we still don't have something to offer. Like, this is my word. Like, I'm definitely, like, you know, like I said, the ages exist in hip hop where the young definitely try to eat the elders, not realizing that they're just setting the precedent for the young beneath them. The young beneath them will turn turn and say, I don't mess with them older cats in time. What they should have been doing is embracing the elders, which is done in the best cultures, you know what I'm saying, and making sure that that they're transitioning, into being, to be so fortunate to be an elder artist, first of all, is a blessing. Because, a trillion people won't be. You know what I'm saying? And, like especially a younger artist needs to definitely make sure their inspirations are in good spaces. Because there's a reason why they were even inspired to rhyme. And by showing the world, and especially the younger artists, how to move forward and how, they expect to be treated. And a younger artist in turn does the same thing. And we all keep each other relevant. Like we belong to a really exclusive club, and sometimes we act like, like we're the only ones in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we're together. You know what I'm saying? Like we're artists. You know what I'm saying? We're all together. You know what I'm saying? So like we gotta understand that, like, and stop really being so it is competitive, but stop being so competitive to the degree that we're not being brothers, you know what I'm saying, in life. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to have, still a moral compass. We still have to have a walkabout us that speaks to who we are. You know what I'm saying? And and to be honest, we're much stronger together than we are individuals, which still remains to be seen. But brothers are gonna see that eventually, like, yo, together we are much stronger,
Absolutely. You know what? I want to switch the pitch, take it back to the music. I need to hear your top 5 male rappers and top 5 female rappers. I know you up in New York, so I know I'm gonna hear a couple New Yorkers.
All right, well, sure. Off the top, I'm gonna just say some of the cats that inspired me to rhyme were like cats like Just Ice, uh, so I'm gonna say I got a lot of love for Pharoah Monch. I got a lot of love for Black Thought, and MCs was my brother by the name of Big L. A lot of love for him. All right, that's 5 there, and female. I think Foxy. I think she's dope. I think
Oh
Foxy
man,
is
of
just
course. Foxy Brown.
You know what I'm saying? Latifah, of course. Latifah's
Queen Latifah, ladies first. Okay.
uh, Lady Luck. I think Lady Luck is dope.
Lady
And I'm gonna throw Remy.
Luck.
That's what's up.
All right, and you said somebody else after that. After
Oh, I
Lady
said
Luck.
Remy.
Ma, of course.
Yeah.
Remy Ma got, boy. You know what? You know, it would have been great if they were kind of in the same era too. If they would have did a record. Let's take Remy Ma and put her with Foxy Brown. Imagine what they could have done.
Woo. Yo,
that would have been insane.
You know what too, and it's so like, and this is another, like, and to me this is all systemic. Like, I know I say that word a lot, but like just the fact that chicks have never clicked like that. You know what I'm saying? So that there should be the compilation EP with Foxy and Remy. You know what I'm saying?
Like crazy.
We should always look at each other and be free to create together. You know what I'm saying? Like we should always see that in each other and have enough love between us. Always. You know what I'm saying? Like those is minimal things, let alone us building businesses, owning establishments, creating, you know what I'm saying, schools and things of that nature. Like us creating art should always exist, and yeah, man. But that's another thing. You know, like we met each other, and our initial our initial thing is just to make sure that we're okay, that we're protected. Don't you know? You stay over there, I'm still over here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And we'll stay years and generation, and you know what I'm saying? And you know, like that's exactly how they want us, because you know, like a house divided falls upon itself. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't we're not speaking as a united front to anything. There's nothing us as black people speak to as a united front. So there's no strength in anything that we're saying. You know what I'm saying? Because it's coming across as just a bunch of gibberish. Every house is saying what every house is saying, but none of us are saying anything together. You know what I'm saying? And that's where they're winning. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
And that's what we have to combat. We have to find a way to be together. Real simple.
That's what this whole thing is about. We need to find a way to be together in communities too, because I'm telling you, because of social media, I don't believe we've gotten closer. I think we were closer in the era you came in and back than now. You would think that we would, because we have social media, it would be better for us. The only thing I can say about social media that's a great thing, I have met a lot of people I would have never met before in my life. I've had artists on here from Minnesota, Seattle, Denver, Philly. I'm from Philly, so New York. This is the most New York connections I've had in my life. And so I'm going to say this is an incredible thing for some things. But, you know, I just think neighborhoods and stuff like that, that's where it has to begin to get better, you know, get better and better and better. All right. You know, also, I wanted to find out, give me 3 artists that you wouldn't mind working with right now in this era. Collaboration.
Like the younger cats. I would say Griselda. I like Griselda.
Okay, Griselda. First time I heard that.
I like Stove God. And I like.
And who else?
And I like Corday.
Okay. Yeah, you name 3 people. I mean, they usually come pretty close, whether they had music out or not. But you just named 3 people nobody named at all. And I done did, in fact, I'm coming up on my 250th show. And nobody named those 3 artists right there.
Nobody what?
Nobody named those 3 artists as far as collaborations. I'm just saying that was the first time I ever heard those 3 ever.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's your preference though. That's all it is. That's why I asked the question, because I'm always just, you know, kind of figure out, you know, what would you do with a current artist?
Huh?
I was just trying to say that I was just trying to find out who would you pick to do current with the current artist, and you just said it. Okay, it ain't nothing. It's just your opinion. That's all. That's all.
Yeah.
Nothing. All right. So you know what we gonna do? I need you to put your information out there. We're gonna close it out. And we just gonna, you know, you know what? I'm gonna play this snippet right here first. Then we're gonna close it out. You want to say something?
Yeah. I wanted to tell everybody to definitely stay in touch with me at Black Sheep Dres on IG, and Dres Black Sheep on Twitter, and you check out some of the music I'm talking about, and you know, some of what's coming up at poolofgenius.com. Poolofgenius.com. Make sure you check out some of the videos as well on YouTube. Peace. And check out this snippet right now for sure. And yo, big love for real. You know what I'm saying? The SL Digital Media campaign is rocking. I appreciate you. And
Yes, sir.
you know, what up?
All right, then. Here comes the single. Bless the Life. It's a snippet. Dre.
Yo, hey yo, I got it in my pocket, got you open like a locket. You like it, I rock it, then take off like a rocket for God to watch it. The kid Dres be prolific. My father fed me flyness and instructions were specific. Told me take it up a notch, give a kick in the crotch. Hip hop came to tell you not woke cause you watch. Ain't arrived to shuck and jive, I rose to rise. So middle finger to Trump from the Central Park 5. Cause every color knows my mother be a lover alike. She says the world's a better place whenever good people unite. And I'm like, be that it might. So every child be a kin to say no more judging brothers by the color of their skin. To be healthy, to be wealthy, to be wise, recognize. Wouldn't grab the mic and mumble next to rise, exercise. Thumbs up to every family. Can't be overstated. Middle finger to Trump from every kid he separated. One time for the brand new day, your sunshine. 2 times for accepting the change, a new sign. 3 times I'ma hope you free to see time. 4 times bless the life I live is all mine. 1 time for the brand new day, your sunshine. 2 times for accepting the change, a new sign. 3 times I'ma hope you free to see time. 4 times bless the life I live.
You heard it. Dre. Black Sheep. It's another one on SL Digital Media Podcast. We signing out. Holla.